Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Creative Living. I'm the Reverend Doti Boon, and we are so excited about having you here. Did you notice the backdrop? This is an homage to my wonderful granddaughter Miranda, who got engaged not too long ago and went to Hawaii to celebrate. So happy engagement, Miranda. I'm so excited for you. There's so many things coming up here at CCL and also at the Universal Church of the Master. Now, UCM is our parent church, and this Tuesday night, our wonderful Reverend Lynn Rogers is going to be talking about twin souls. Now, if you want to get more information about that, look at your what we send out, and that is the CCL Insights. Tells you everything that's going on within our church and also within our parent church right now. And we'd love for you to get a copy of this if you haven't received it yet. So call Corky, Reverend Corky Whitacre, at 408-220-5779 and say, I like a copy of the CCL Insights, okay? Because there's so many different things that are coming up with the various churches that we would like for you to stay on top of and know what's happening. And also, speaking of Corky, she's going to be our speaker today, and she's going to be talking about something that's amazing. It's called E.B.E.R.T, Earthbound Energy Releasement Technique. So if any of you have ever had that feeling that you're not there alone, that maybe somebody who's passed on is trying to reach you, or if you'd like to even get in touch with somebody who's passed on, she is a hypnotherapist that specializes in getting people in touch with those spirits that might be trying to talk to them. Okay, and so we want you to be able to listen to that later today. And you're going to learn a lot of new and interesting things. I guarantee that, okay? I don't know if you realize there's a scam going on. And this scam is you'll get a phone call from the very nice sounding person who says, you need to pay for the COVID-19 shot. And we're ready to take the money and set you up with an appointment to receive it. This is a scam. There is no charge for the COVID vaccination. So I want you to be aware of that and say no thank you or hang up or whatever. We need to stop this scam because it's being directed towards the people that are so scared. And those are those that are over 75 and 80 that are really fearful of this disease. And we don't want you to be taken advantage of by these scammers, okay? So just make sure that you don't buy into that. Now, next week, our Reverend Joan Stutz is going to be talking about the love deposits. In other words, well, how much love do you put in for how much love you're getting back? Great topic for Valentine's Day, and we're so excited about having you join us for that talk. So the other thing that I'm so excited about is the fact that we are getting this wonderful weather here in San Jose, California. So if you've been wondering how to get out of the snow, well, do you know your way to San Jose? Yeah, the weather has been really good. So we are going to be hearing next a prayer and a message from our Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine. And then we're going to hear a talk by the Reverend Corky Whitacre. And following that, there's going to be a meditation by the Reverend Janet Childs and videos by Reverend Corry Gott. Now, if it sounds like we have a lot of reverends, we do. And if you're interested in becoming an ordained minister in a spiritual church, the Universal Church of the Master, give me a call, Reverend Doti Boon, at 408-220-5780. Thank you again for joining us, and particularly a shout out to Michael. Michael just moved. He's in North Carolina. He says he follows us every week from North Carolina, and we want to honor that. And now, take a moment to take a nice deep breath for our prayer.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Ayleen, and I am very pleased to be here again with you on another Sunday to be able to share fellowship and community. And even if it's just through the chat, we still stay connected. So I want to thank everyone for all of their prayers and good wishes. I am back home safe and sound, and Luna is back home. And I'm really grateful that I had some place to be. And I'm tremendously grateful that I had a home to come back to. You know, sometimes things really kind of look pretty dark, and there isn't a lot of room for optimism. And while it's true, we have to be able to be realistic and accept that the, outcome may not be what we want it to be. But just because it's not what we want it to be, it doesn't mean that it is not something that can ultimately serve us. So keep that in mind, because one of my favorite things about Creator is that they know the difference between what I want and what I need, even when I don't. And yes, sometimes we can be thrown those curveballs, and ultimately the best we can do is the best we can do in that moment with the tools that we have. So always remember that one of the tools in that toolkit is your connection with Creator. To be able to trust, to be able to hold on to what it is that we know inside of us to be true, that we're never alone, that we are never abandoned. And even when options seem few, Creator's going to make sure that one of those options takes us somewhere that's going to be good for us. So, take a nice deep breath in, and as you let it out, allow anything weighing on your body, your mind, or your spirit to fall aside into that little care basket, because in this space and at this moment, you don't need to hold on to it. Dear, blessed, and wonderful Creator, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for our lives. We thank you for all the blessings you give in each and every moment and with each and every breath. We thank you for always knowing what's best for us, even when we don't know ourselves. Thank you for always realizing that what we ask for may not be what serves us most, and that you will make sure that what serves us most is what comes into our lives. Thank you for the fact that when those times come and it's hard and it's confusing, that you're always there, right beside us, to make sure that we know we're not alone. Creator, thank you for the blessing of, and please bless all those who have dedicated their lives to taking care of others, whether they be doctors and nurses at hospitals and care facilities, or home health aides, or even the people who deliver food and deliver items, or are there at the cashiers at the stores. Creator, for all those who are out there working and keeping lights on and utilities going and keeping us safe, and a special prayer for all of those who dealt with the trees and took care of this mountain so that we would all have some place to come home to. Creator, thank you for, even though times are hard, you're always there. And even though things may be dark, you placed a light within each and every one of us. And we know that sometimes the darkness comes just so we can realize how truly bright that light is, both within ourselves and within others. Creator, thank you for everything. And whatever it means to you, we hope you have a wonderful day. For all your creation to the next 7 generations and beyond, Aho Mitako Esin, Ago, 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 by earth, sea, and sky, Namaste, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, blessed be, and Amen.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Corky, and I'm here this morning speaking about E.B.E.R.T. Thank you so much for joining us to learn about the earthbound entity releasement technique. Now, I'm a hypnotherapist, and I've been a hypnotherapist since 1985. So I graduated from the Palo Alto School of Hypnotherapy and Josie Hadley, and just a wonderful, wonderful organization. Anyway, so this process started when I heard Dr. E.B.E.R.T speak about the book that she had just written, and when she had her debut at was it Wesley High School in Palo Alto in 1987. I was there because I was a real fan of hers, and she talked about it, and man, I was so hooked in talking about spirit possession, and it's something that she had written about, and just couldn't get enough of it, and still am studying and learning about it and writing about it, and this is a very exciting topic to me. Okay, so earthbound entities are disembodied spirits. You know, when you die, we talk about it, when you die, you go to the light, and then you get a panoramic review of your life, and then you take classes and stuff and prepare for your next life. Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of how I feel it works. Now, we know a lot about what happens when you die from people who have been revived. I mean, medical field has gotten so good at bringing people back from the dead that people have written about it, lectured about it, all kinds of information, and basically there's the commonalities are that you are greeted by either family or angels, and very angelic beings, and you're taken to the light, and you go in. It's like a tunnel or an elevator or a stairway or something that gets you to the light. And you can see the picture here. This was drawn by my friend Gail Harlow, and it's of the spirit, going up and going to the light with the tunnel. And so this is kind of the logo that I use. This is exactly the logo I use for my E.B.E.R.T. And thank you so much, Gail. And so that's what we expect to happen. Now, but there are entities that decide to stay earthbound. And why would they do that? Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to talk about, there's 4 steps in E.B.E.R.T, and it's the detect, detach, release, and stay clear. So let's do it in that order so that I don't go too far afield. Spirit possession has been in folklore and documented in the Bible and documented in every culture. Ever since time began, there have been the shaman and the villages, and they talk about possession, that people are acting weird, and that they have to be like depossessed from the shaman or the medicine person takes care of that, or the priest or the wise woman or whoever it is. And so it's not anything that's new. It's like one of the oldest things, in known to mankind, known to civilization. And some documents that I've read say that like 90% of all cultures have this kind of activity happening in their history and in their day-to-day life. Okay, so it's not just me. It's everybody in the world has something like this going on in their culture. Okay, so the detect. How do you detect? Well, usually people come in because they have something different in their life that is a red flag to them. That either they are feeling they don't feel like themselves, that they hear a voice in their head that doesn't sound like them, that's telling them bad things about themselves. And let me tell you that if you have a voice in your head that's saying mean things about you or things that are negative, that is not your spirit guide, that is not your higher self, that is a red flag, and take it seriously. And as we walk through this today, I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can get rid of it. Okay, so the detection is, I mean, I've had people come in and say, well, ever since I had this car accident, I can't stop drinking. Or every time I have, since my mother died, I can't stop drinking. Since I broke up with my girlfriend, since I had that traumatic brain injury, I can't stop being angry. And it's always something it isn't like ever since I had that somebody, hit me with a bat on the head, I'm just so loving. I can't stop just loving people. Some people have reported that when they look in a mirror, they don't recognize the eyes that are looking back at them. That is not their eyes. And I think that would be frightening, don't you? And so we have people come in for usually that they feel like there's a block. There's something that's preventing them from happening. I had this one gal that she came in and she says, I really want to get a handle on my finances, and I buy these books about how to invest in the stock market, or how to do all kinds of different things to make money, and they disappear. The books disappear, and she hasn't. And then she's just so frustrated because she can't. She feels like her heart desire isn't being met. And so, we went and I got in touch with this spirit. Now I can tell you that the process is, a light trance, and then you ask the person to look into, imagine that they're looking into a full-length mirror, and that and to see the reflection in the mirror, and to concentrate on that, and then imagine that they can see their internal organs, and then imagine that they can see behind them. So the point is that you see all aspects of your body. It's multidimensional. You can see your auric field. You can see all 360 around yourself and into you. So if there's something people have seen locks on their heart, or binding on their heart, or on their lungs, or on different parts of their anatomy, things kind of sticking out of their shoulders, and sometimes it's just gooey, like they can't move forward because they've got this sticky, icky, gooey stuff. Sometimes they see eyes, sometimes they see a person. So it's never the same. It's always different. So that's something, and then you start. So then you address that. You say, sticky, icky, gooey stuff. If you had a name, what would your name be? So you use exactly the phraseology that it tells you. I mean, that you see or feel or hear. And then you say, what is your name? What is your purpose here? And let it answer. And I've had clients say, well, but it's not saying my name. Well, but it's saying its name. So I'm having a conversation with it, and you're letting me know what it is saying back. So it isn't you, it's that thing that's in you that I'm talking to, and that's talking to me. And so just tell me exactly what it says. Don't judge it. Don't try to explain what you think it means. Just tell me exactly what it says. Exactly what it says. And then they usually just start speaking. It's my name is Fred. I've been here for hundreds of years. Well, how did you get into this person? Well, they fell, or they were in a car accident, or they stepped over my grave, or something, and they were depressed, and so I don't even know how I got in. I just fell in. They're being close to me sucked me into them, and so it's and so you say, well, what I might say, what have you been doing there? And sometimes they're just laying dormant. But even in that state, they're sapping your energy because they need you to survive. And once they're inside your body, or maybe they say, well, now I'm looking around at all this new stuff. I mean, I'm just so excited with new technology. I have them buy all the new stuff. Okay. I had one guy come in and he said that, you know, he was addicted to gaming, and he said, you know, it's ruined his jobs. He's gotten fired. It's ruined his relationships. It's you know, just made it so difficult for him to have any kind of relationship with anybody, because all he wants to do is game. So when I put him into a life trance, and he saw the two kids and who loved to game, and so he was like, and I, well, you know, who are you? How long have you been here? Well, that it turns out that my client was a very sickly child and was in a hospital a lot with operations and quite a bit when he was an infant, and so they jumped in then, and that they love to game and they don't want to do anything else but game. And so I said, well, and that was their story. That was it. That's all they wanted to do. And they never, of course, you know, once you die, you don't all of a sudden become smarter. Usually, you always are left with the same mentality and the same fears and phobias and regrets and everything that you had when you died. And so, like, if somebody commits suicide, whatever set them on that track, they still have all that going on. And so then if they enter into you, then they bring that with them. So their whole blueprint comes with them. So anyway, so here's these kids, and he said, I don't want to remove them. Okay, well, that's his free will, right? And I said, well, but he says, but I don't know who I'll be with them gone. So that's a whole different side of things. And so I said, okay, you know, that's your thing. But with the books that were disappearing, he when I was working with that particular person, she said, okay, so we went into and it wasn't a past life, it was a spirit, because this person was identified themselves as being there to help her, not she wasn't another aspect of this person. She was actually he was actually someone who wasn't related to her in any way or anything like that, but that came in to help her not ruin her life with money. Now, this guy had been in England. He reminded me so much of Scrooge and that whole story, because he, you know, had this really thin coat and had to walk in the snow, and he was a financial guy that worked in the bank, and he was pretty high up on the, you know, in the lower faction. I mean, he wasn't like a bookkeeper; he was an actual accountant. But he spent his whole life working for this bank and making this bank money, and he died poor. He couldn't even afford a new jacket. And so when he died, he was just feeling the frugality. I mean, the hopelessness of, you know, here he made all this money for the bank, and he couldn't feed his family. He couldn't buy a coat. He just froze to death. You know, he just like fell over and died. And when this particular gal she'd gone to England to go to school, and she, you know, sometimes when you're in school and you don't have your family there and you get kind of depressed, and she'd been out drinking, and so they found each other, and he was kind of comfortable there and felt warm, and went home with her, and of course, you know, when you're in somebody's aura, you go where they go. And then he noticed that she was thinking about doing all this financial stuff, and he was so afraid that it would ruin her life. And so he would like get her to put him someplace and then forget where she put him. And so I told him that, you know, she wouldn't do that. I mean, this was a totally different time. That was like in the Elizabethan period or whatever. And she was, this new age was really different, and that she had enough money right now to survive on and to buy a new coat if she needed it, and that she would be just fine. And that, thank you so much for, and you know, this, had the client say, thank you so much for your help, but now I want to do this on my own. I'm really excited about going into the stock market and learning how to do it and doing that kind of stuff, and be safe. And so, I had him see the light, see the tunnel of light, and he's okay. And and there was a nice warm elevator for him to step into, and so he was able to go, and she was able to then find her books. And then it's like, then she remembered where she had put them, and so that mask of losing her memory of where things were had been lifted, and it was great. Yay. And then so that's how these spirits, sometimes it's just that, benign in a way that it did change her life, because then she just kept buying all these books and then they just kept disappearing. But she was able to doing pretty well in the stock market. Great for her. Okay, so in detecting, it usually comes that you feel different, and that you may look different, and you feel different, and I have this whole list of how would I know if I had an earthbound entity attachment to me. And you see these 2 columns in small print, and it's like low energy, character shift or mood swings, inner voices speaking to you, sudden onset of drug or alcohol abuse, emotional and or physical reaction to learning about E.B.E.R.T. I had given a client the Unquiet Dead, Edith Fiore's book, and she threw it away. I mean, I've had that happen more than once. I had a gal that she was living in Monterey, and she said, he keeps telling me not to come, not to talk to you, to just hang up. I said, well, you come anyway, and don't let anything stop you. I've had people have flat tires, have their cars break down, but I said, make sure you make it to the appointment. And the whole time she made it into Santa Clara, and the whole time that she was there, she said, he's telling me to leave. He's telling me not to stay here. I've had people that, it's, that's not uncommon. And people are saying, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to make it to the appointment. I just don't feel like it, or I don't feel like I need it. That's a red flag right there. No, just come on in. I'll come to you. So. But on with the list. Unusual or inappropriate speech. Appropriate art for sex, food, alcohol, or drugs is increased drastically. Loss of normal sense of one's personal identity, personal attention, and beliefs can suddenly change. Taste in clothes, feeling of regularly not being yourself, impulsive behavior, memory problems, poor concentration, sudden onset of anxiety or depression, sudden onset of physical problems with no organic or obvious cause, unfamiliar reactions to familiar situations. Anything that you think is different and not a behavior that is something that you would normally do is something that needs to be considered, suspect. And so, with that's how you detect, that there might be something there. And so, what you can do is you can look at this mirror, and see if you detect something there that's stuck inside of it, stuck on you, and then you can dialogue with it, and tell it to leave. We are born, we have free will. And if you give up your free will willingly, then that's one thing. But if you have your free will taken away from you, then that's working against what God wanted for us. And so that's why I say that I feel like I'm doing God's work, is because people are feeling like their free will is being taken away from them. And that's when we get to talk about, talk to the spirit and have it leave. And so, and sometimes it's like I remember once when I first learned that It could be an ET extraterrestrial. Here I was giving a workshop and doing an exam, a demonstration for the workshop, and all of a sudden, I was asking questions, and the answers weren't cohesive, weren't right. And I said, well, where are you from? And they said, well, they're from this other planet. And I said, are you dead? And they said, no, I'm very much alive. Well, there's a clue, because an earthbound entity is a spirit, somebody who's died. So if you are talking to something that's alive, that's a whole different lecture. It was, and everybody in the class goes, how did you know that was an ET? And I said, well, thank God I channel. And as most hypnotherapists know, that as you hypnotize someone, you too get hypnotized. And I use that opportunity to let spirit come through and guide me with the conversation that I have with the spirit, and how to lead it to the other side, and talk to it about being whole with its maker. Okay, so then we detect, and then we need to release it, and that's you have the conversation, and then it's the whole part of how do I protect myself from getting one of these again. Okay, this is the great news, is that you can protect yourself. Now, what happens with that is that it's your aura. Your aura is your first defense against consider that to be your immunity system, and this is your electric shield. We're electric, and so this is your energy and electric shield. And so make sure that shield is put up, is there. And how do you do that? You stay happy. You're pleasant. You think of spiritual things, and you're very positive. You dance, you sing, you have fun. We're here to experience unconditional joy and unconditional love, and to love unconditionally. And when we're not doing that, we're not doing what we're here to do. I mean, any kind of process where you go, well, what is my purpose? You're going to find that your purpose on this planet is to be love, and not rich, not the most beautiful thing, not to be adored, not any of that stuff, but to be love, and to be loving, and to experience joy. That's it. We're on a beautiful planet, and life is here for us. Okay, so now the way so you can raise your energy by thinking very positive thoughts. Now, the difference between being energetic and being depressed, being depressed or not depressed, and you can feel it in your body. And that's when your aura is lowering is when say whatever, something that you're depressed about something, and you feel yourself getting heavy, and you feel your head dropping, and you feel yourself losing interest in life, and all of a sudden you hear that voice say, well, you're no good anyway. You're never going to get out of this. You're not worth it. There's nothing there for you. It's no wonder you couldn't get that new job. You have no talent. Whatever it is, whatever's going on inside of you, that is not you. And when you're, say, your highest vibration, let's just arbitrarily say it's 1,000 cycles per second, that creates like a brick wall. If you have something that goes bump in the night, and it's cycling at like 300 cycles per second, and it bumps into that 1,000, it's a brick wall, and it cannot penetrate. End of story. But if you get depressed, and if you feel like you can't make it anymore, that things are no good, that you're never going to survive, whatever it is, and you become so heavy with regrets and fears and whatever, when you get that depressed, whatever you're thinking, if it's suicidal or whatever it is, just know that you don't have to stay there. That isn't where you want to live. That isn't what God has in store for you. It's that you've let your guard down, that your electric fence has been turned off, defense, how about that? And then all those earthbound entities can come in. See, what happens is that when you die, when you're enlightened, when you're vibrating at a high rate, then you just float. You just do the thing. It's you don't have to worry about being stuck here on Earth. You go to the light. But when you're depressed and you've got that density, I asked Ma once, Naughty Spirit Guide, about the density, and I said, well, so if somebody's fighting, and maybe you're in an argument, and they put their hands on the desk, and it leaves a smudge, because your energy, everything you touch, it's an energy, and it leaves that imprint. How long does it take for it to be erased or to be cleaned up? And he said that it takes 10 I love yous to clean off I hate you. So if you have somebody in your family that's always angry, always upset, always fighting, never happy, they're smudging, they're just leaving negativity all around you. And I'm a lot of the people that I'm talking to are very sensitive, and you go into an area where that's depressed, and boy, it's easy to feel that energy, and don't let yourself become part of it. Don't become a wounded healer. What you need to do is this is when you have to really spark up your game here and make sure that you're at full guard and at full energy pack. And so let's see. So just be careful. Play nice, be fair, be loving, and keep your energy up. And if you have somebody around you that's negative, just start saying I love you a lot, because there's a lot of I love yous that need to clean up the smudgy parts. Okay. So it's the denser emotions that cause the spirits to stay earthbound. Right. We have, oh gee, I could just tell you so many stories. And so we have the detection is this mirror technique, and I guess that's it for now. There's a lot more to this, and a lot more stories, and a lot of fun activity, a lot of fun stories that have come out of my 20-something years of being a hypnotherapist. Longer than that, 40 years. Anyway, and so just keep yourself safe, and I love you, and it's thank you so much for watching. Bye. I knew that I forgot something that I wanted to tell you, is that I'm going to be going back into the office and doing hypnosis and spirit releasement and all of my hypnosis work. I'm pretty soon. I'm going to be getting the vaccine, the vaccine, and I will when that series of shots are taken care of, and I feel safe out in the world, I will open the doors, and you're invited to make an appointment by calling me at 408-220-5779 and making an appointment. It's not going to be for, I don't even have an appointment yet to have the first shot, so it may be several weeks, but I'll keep you informed and let you know when I'm going to be opening my doors. I mean, this is such a great topic, and I want to do some stuff where maybe we can do some very reduced prices for hypnosis and stuff, because I know that people have been so traumatized by this last year that I think people need a lot of help. And I think that hypnosis will help you. So please give me a call if you so desire, and we can make a appointment for the future. And I know that there's been people that have called me and I've said, yeah, I don't feel safe going out there. I really don't want to do it over Zoom or something. I really prefer to do it in person. So just know that you guys are on the top of my list. And so when I get ready to go out, I will call you first and tell you and make an appointment. And we'll get this done, because it's hypnosis is fabulous. If there's anything you want to start doing or anything you want to stop doing, hypnosis is really what you should consider. Okay, well, thank you so much and have a great day. Love you.
Gratitude moves in a circle between me and you. Gratitude holds us together. Ooh, gratitude is the glue. It's in the smallest act of kindness, in the presence of your heart, that leads me to the fountain where my healing can start. It's the risk you take to be honest, to open up your wounded soul. It's the strength and hope of promise. Bridges build to a behold. Oh, bridges build us to behold. I will always remember. I will never forget the acts of your courage in the landscape we met. Beckoning forth the power that strong gentleness can bring, calling to the essence of this world song we sing. Gratitude, 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 gratitude fills my being. Gratitude, gratitude for each moment you have given to me. Gratitude moves us together. Gratitude is the glue. Beckoning for power, and that strong gentleness brings, calling forth to the essence of this world song we sing. You have given to me gratitude, 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 gratitude. Ooh.
Thank you for joining us for this celebration of faith and fellowship. We'll be back next Sunday. And for those of you, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section. If you appreciate this video and the work that the Center for Creative Living is doing, please press like on the video. You can share the video. And also, please subscribe, because that will help this community and the church grow. Remember, in these difficult and challenging times, the opportunity to give and support an organization that has done so much for the community is tremendously important. Please help the Center for Creative Living continue in the wonderful work that it does. We will make it through this. We will be stronger for it. Our faith will carry us. Be blessed, be safe, and have a wonderful week.